So if your body turns most of the food we eat into sugar, I guess the next question we need to ask is what kinds of foods should you avoid?
Stuff that's really sweet.
Sugars.
Excess carbohydrates.
Anything that's high in sugar, I guess.
Candy.
Sweets.
Probably even breads, I would think.
Carbohydrates and sugar.
If you're getting the impression that food has something to do with diabetes, you're wrong. Food has everything to do with diabetes. Your eating habits before you were diagnosed with the disease are going to have to change. This is a wake-up call, and it's time to learn new habits. Some of the food you eat and the liquid you drink is turned into sugar in your body, and uncontrolled levels of sugar in the blood can be a death sentence to a person with diabetes. If you think I'm trying to be dramatic here, trying to scare you, you're right. People can live long, happy, productive lives by managing their diabetes. It happens all the time. But just in case you think you can beat this disease by not making changes in your lifestyle, listen to this.
You might feel really good right now. You might not feel like there's anything wrong with you and think that, okay, this is going to go away, but it doesn't. And people do feel okay even when their blood sugar is elevated sometimes. That's why there's a lot of people with diabetes that are running around and don't really know they have it. But the high blood sugar level is starting to work on your arteries now, so you need to do something. You need to get on that bandwagon. You need to find out how to eat properly, with the importance of activity in your life, and get that blood sugar back under control.
I had a friend who was a diabetic, and she did that. She didn't care if her blood sugar was 400.
No, I'm one of the baddest boys around that do everything that they're not supposed to do.
She died 2 years ago, and let's see, I'm 48, so I'd say she was 35.
I have pain in my feet. My both feet, the neuropathy in my feet, they burn. I could feel like I could put them in a bucket of ice water and melt the ice and bring it to a boil. And I could feel the problem growing. Then I just kind of sloughed it off, but now both of them burn. They both burn.
The choice is yours. Fight this disease or let it win. If you choose to fight, there's no better ally than the experts at the Conemaugh Diabetes Institute. Amanda Hoffman is one of those experts. We spoke with her about what it means to eat healthy.
The foods that you eat and the lifestyle choices that you make have a huge impact on your diabetes control. So it's so important to pay attention to the recommendations that are given on controlling your diet, including more physical activity, because those are the things that are going to allow you to live a long, healthy lifestyle. So a lot of changes need to be made in controlling your diabetes. Portion control is really the key in controlling diabetes as far as meal planning goes, and the portions these days are just gigantic, especially when we go out to eat. So it's so important to understand what proper portion sizing is, exactly how much foods to eat, and understand how to be able to cut back on those foods that can really raise the blood sugar. And we certainly, everywhere we turn, we see huge portions nowadays.
Amanda could talk for hours about food and diabetes in general, but we just don't have the time in this program. However, at the Conemaugh Diabetes Institute, you can meet with a dietitian one-on-one. She'll help develop a meal plan made just for you. You'll learn about the amount of carbohydrates, protein, and fats you should eat at each meal. And together, you'll set a new path for a healthy you. Susan Conzo needed that help when she first came to the Institute.
Eating like in between, like doing a lot of like snacking, or not eating at regular times, like a breakfast, a lunch, and a supper is so important. You know, then to maybe just, well, I'm just going to eat a little bit maybe for breakfast, and then I'll have something else different, you know, better for lunch. It doesn't work that way. Because it just makes your system and your sugar level kind of sporadic. You know, it just all over the place.
If you go to a restaurant, the portion that a restaurant gives you is usually
probably twice as much, maybe 2.5 times what a portion would be.
But I've learned to eat properly. I feel better now than I have probably felt in 20 years.
Having diabetes and yet feeling better than she has in 20 years? Wow! Watching what you eat is very important. But is that all?